So before the video starts, I'm just doing a quick change to these vlogs. So I'm gonna have tips and like a bit of a guide to these movements, and then I'm gonna go into my training for the day. So the first part is a little bit of a guide on how I've learned to get to where I am with this skill, and then it's gonna go into the particular training that I'm doing on the day. Hope that makes sense. So warming up for the planche, I'm going to do some protraction, retraction with the scapula, or scapular push-ups. So protraction, retraction, protraction, retraction, protraction, retraction. In that protracted position, I'm going to hold for 2 to 3 seconds up in that top position before coming down to retraction. So retraction, you're trying to bring the shoulder blades together. Protraction, you're trying to push the shoulder blades as far as you can around. They'll hug the rib cage. If you really struggle, do it on your knees. And then it's a protraction hold. Now this might be for a lot of people the best exercise for them to work on initially if they don't have a good protraction, if they're not used to loading their hands, putting weight into the shoulders. You just do a protraction hold. So in that protracted position, lean forwards as far as you can without losing any of the protraction, and do a hold. If you work to like 30 to 60 seconds, probably around the 30 to 45 seconds for most people to start with is enough. So I got this for free. So it's just a pull-up bar that goes over a door, but it makes a good P-bars. So today I'm going to use this for my planche training. I also go on the floor quite a bit. I'll probably do more floor than P-bars, but I'm just going to have a play with this because it's a nice distance. And I should be able to get the shoulders a bit more in front of the hands with the P-bars. Now I'm just going to go into some tuck holds. Now this can be done if you don't have a freestanding tuck position with straight arms. You can use band assist. So I'll put a little video showing the band assist option. So band around the hips is probably the preferred position. If you really struggle, you can put the band around the ankle. But I'd probably go for something like tuck slides if you're really struggling with the position. So tuck slides is just in that planche position, that protracted hold, and then sliding the feet in, or the other way you can do it is walk your toes in very slowly. So you could use just a piece of cardboard, or there's a plastic plate. So into that protracted position and slide in, slide back out, slide in, slide back out. So work those. The other option that you can do is play with walking your toes in. So you're trying to keep the same amount of weight, if not more weight, in the hands as you walk forwards. And then I would just normally set myself a time. So it might be a 10-second hold, it might be an 8-second hold, it might be a 12, 15, even up to 30-second holds, and just doing sets of that. So the more time you do, so the longer the time, duration of the repetition, the less sets you do. The shorter the time, so if I'm doing 5-second holds, I would do a lot more sets. So you're accumulating time under tension. And I'd vary that around, and it depends on the individual and what they can hold, what quality, whether you're going to do one session where you do longer repetitions, one session where you do shorter repetitions. So it's very dependent on the individual, and you can play with those things. But initially it's just really learning the protracted hold position and spending time there. So I'm just going to go into a tuck hold now, just as a final warm up, and then I'm going to play around with the straddle, lowering and exiting, entering into different positions. So I just use that as part of my warm up because that's quite comfortable for me to do. And then I'm going to start to open up into different positions. So with the positions, I would be looking at starting in a tuck first, then going to an open tuck, then a flat back, then doing something with the legs. So it might be a frog position, it might be a high hip straddle, it might be a lower hip straddle. And then you can play around with, some people use single legs, some people use half lay position, and then progressively go out. Some people will find certain positions easier than others. It all depends on your limb length, your strength, your training history, lots of different things. So it's finding positions that you find challenging, but you can still hold a good position. I'm actually going to swap either to this or to the floor. These, I can angle these around a little bit because they're not connected. For some reason this, I don't know if it's the thickness or the position it's putting my arms in, but it's hurting my bicep a little bit. So I'm going to stop using this, either go to the floor or use these P-bars. Michael Moves made these for me, so thank you. These are like 3 or 4 years old now. Yeah, straight away that feels easier because I can turn them slightly. So I like a little slight external rotation, I think, because my shoulder's happier to be in front. I'm starting to lose the protraction here, so I need to try and work on that. So that was just experimental with closing the hip, but protracting really hard and leaning forwards just to see whether I can start to lift the toes. I think I'm way off trying to do that with an open hip, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a lift off there, but it is closing the hip a lot. So starting to try and work on a lower hip position with the straddle. Okay, now I'm going to attempt, I can't do these yet. I'm going to lower a straight body to close as I can to full position for my handstand. Okay, same thing, so lower for my handstand, but this time I'm going to try in a open straddle and try and have the flattest, most open hip position and try and get the correct height. So just roughly hips level with shoulders. We'll see. Handstand to half lay. In terms of programming, it's very individual. I would definitely start working, if you're not doing them already or you haven't done in the past, front lever work, skin the cat, that type of stuff. Front lever pulls, that way so you're just balancing out that push-pull. And roughly the same time under tension. So whatever the amount of load work you're doing on the planche work, do exactly the same on the front lever work. Either alternating, so supersetting, or just do it separately. You could do one session then the other, or you could do it separate days, but I'll definitely be working the push and the pull to try and create some balance. Questions, comments, subscribe, put them below. Let me know if you want anything in particular, tutorial wise, tips, videos. See you next time.